Well, guys, we do have an absurd, crazy, insane, whatever you want to say, simulation that tracks Donald Trump's facial movements, and we can see how close the bullets were. Apparently, at least according to this simulation, there were 3 different bullets that were very close to Trump, all shot by the shooter, and there's more things on Thomas Crooks, just how ridiculous it is. There's some different information. There was a CNN article. I'm going to kind of summarize everything that they're saying, at least what the FBI is telling the media right now. You've got the whole controversy with, the director saying that, oh, they can't be on the roof because of the slope. And then, of course, we see Trump speaking, and then that one, it's the famous video of the counter sniper on a much steeper degreed roof. It just makes no sense. We've also got the Lincoln Project coming out. This was today. And so is this not like perfect? Have we not been saying for the past 8 or 9 years, because they're still trying to weasel their way out of and say, oh, it was a Republican, it was a Trump supporter that shot Trump. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But take a look at this, the Lincoln Project. It's literally a video of Hitler coming to power, and then it shifts at the end to Trump. Thankfully, everyone is lowering the temperature, being more somber in their rhetoric. You can smell the desperation in these people. Well, this is how it was always going to be. The reality is they don't care. A lot of them wish Trump was killed. That's what they're saying. It's all over the place. How many people have gotten fired over this, wishing a president had died? This is just who they are, and they're only obsessed with one thing. It's power. So Trump, surviving, it's whatever, we'll feel bad for half a day, or we'll give the token responses. Really, none of them felt bad. They just had to give the token responses, and then it's back to attacking Trump because Trump's up in every poll right now. It's only power. That's all they care about is power. All they care about is winning. That's it. And then they do the whole charade. Oh, no, we care about other people. We want to bring the immigrants in. Yeah, you want the votes. We know. It's a political move. You're endangering American citizens. We've seen several American citizens die at the hand of illegals. They don't care. They don't even mention the American citizen's name because it's bad for political, for them in terms of politics. All right, this is what I was talking about at the beginning of the video. Impossible to overstate how much of a miracle it was. This is crazy. So they've got Trump right here. Here he is. This is where the shooter is aiming. Now, they were saying this was a good shot, and yeah, it was a good shot. Ideally, you would want it more towards the center. I'm not sure exactly where his angle was. So maybe, it would have nailed Trump, hit him in the side of the brain, and he would have been dead at this angle. But Trump is like looking off, and then he readjusts to look at the graph on immigration, which was something that they didn't even have. He just said, I don't want to use the teleprompter anymore. Can you bring up the immigration graph? So there's the movement by Trump, and it puts it out of the way. And in this video, there's 3 bullets. There's the first one. That's the one that hit Trump. The second one missed, obviously. You can see Trump going for his ear. Here's the second one. I don't know if this was higher or what, or if that was even there. And then the third one missing pretty significantly because at that point, Trump moves back and then lowers his head. But that's a crazy, face scan, whatever you want to call it, to where they're able to track the facial movements and how close the bullet was. It is truly remarkable, and it's something, it's just, to see something like that every day. We're getting this historic information, the historic stuff, and we've also got stuff on the shooter. So this was a thing, and it's like, okay, this is not true. You could see this story keeps getting more bizarre. CNN is reporting Crooks brought 50 rounds of ammo. So apparently Crooks went to his local firing range. It's already been confirmed he's a member there. Apparently they have, at the range, you can shoot up to 200 yards, and obviously Crooks, it was 150 yards to Trump. The fact that he was able to even get in, it's very cloudy, and there's a lot of differing opinions right now in terms of the situation. Now, this is wrong. He apparently did buy a ladder at Home Depot, but his car was right, near the rally, where you would park, and apparently his car had some type of detonation, some type of explosive in the trunk that was wired to where he could press it. And the idea was, at least this is what they're speculating, which to me, it really doesn't make sense just thinking out loud, that he would have had some type of explosion that would have distracted the police and the Secret Service. But if there was some type of explosion around the rally, they would immediately pull Trump off the stage. So I'm not sure why that would be a diversion if you're trying for an assassination. If there's any type of explosion in and around that area, yeah, it'll distract police and the Secret Service, but they're going to immediately pull Trump the second it happens. That's the first thing they're going to do before even looking for it when they hear it. So I don't really understand that story, but apparently he did have some type of explosive device that was wired, and they went through his phone, and they say there's no history of him, looking for how to do this, how to make this. So there's a lot of people wondering, was anyone else involved? Of course, that's been something several days now. This kid kind of seems like, maybe a lone or a little bit of a weirdo when it came to his high school. There was a few videos of him, possibly one of him getting bullied. And right now, it just seems very strange that this kid, he goes to Home Depot apparently on Saturday morning. It was an hour from where he lived. So he lives, outside of, significantly far away. It's like a suburb in Pittsburgh, but far away from Butler. He goes to his local Home Depot, apparently buys, this is what they're saying, some type of collapsible ladder, because that's another thing. By the way, he did not walk a ladder for a mile to the rally because his car was like right outside there. That's why this dude, this is from the CNN article, and you cannot trust CNN, that's fine, but I mean, they talked to the investigators. So he drove his car. This is after buying, this is Saturday morning, so this is the day of. He buys the ladder, which people are assuming is some type of collapsible, or maybe it's like only 3 feet, because you really can't fit a big ladder, obviously, in a car. And that was another thing that I wondered the second it happened. How did he even get on the roof? Apparently, he set a freaking ladder up. How is this even possible that crooks could set up a ladder before the shooting? And they were already talking about, the rumor was that he was looking really weird around the entrance. He was scouting it. There's another thing that's come out. Apparently, he was using a device to see how far he had to shoot Trump, looking through it. This whole thing, it's so bad. It is so bad. But you can see he drove his car about an hour north to where the rally was, joining thousands of people around the region who flocked to Trump's rally in Butler. He parked the car outside the rally with an improvised explosive device hidden in the trunk that was wired to a transmitter he carried, according to officials. Then investigators believe he used his newly bought ladder to scale a nearby building and opened fire on the former president. Well, we do have conflicting reports, because there were people saying that he was on the roof 30 minutes before it actually happened, and that they were IDing him and saying, you need to watch out for this kid. I've heard two sides of that story, in terms of some people saying he was already on the roof prior, other people saying he was just looking around. A lot of this information has to come out. I did read this article, and I'm going to go to it, from CNN, where apparently they were talking to, you can see a shooting range, a gun store, and a ladder purchase. So the shooting range is where the kid went on Friday morning, obviously to get in some target practice. He goes to a gun store on Saturday morning. So he buys 50 rounds on Saturday morning, and then also purchases some type of ladder also on Saturday morning, and then travels travels an hour from where, his hometown is to Butler. And then apparently that's the story they're going with right now. And obviously a lot of people speculating this is pretty ridiculous, considering, this kid knows how to build, an explosive device that's wired, and there's no history on his phone. They break into his phone, they find nothing. This is just so, you know what? I want to show people something. I think I have it on here, because somebody was on CNN. It was like a skilled, former military person that was on. You can see unseen footage shows Secret Service scrambling as there was no apparent. Yeah, so this is them ramming a police car into a fence to try and get it open. The whole thing was a total shit show, an absolutely shit show. Are we still pretending we don't know the shooter's motive? Obviously, he didn't try to kill his first choice for president. No. He loved Trump. He was a huge supporter. That's why he tried to kill him. That's what the left is going with. Investigators believe Thomas Crooks may have planned on blowing up his car as a distraction. But that doesn't make any sense unless his car was like 2 or 3 miles away. Apparently, his car was found around. Maybe it was further away, but then he'd have to walk a ladder. Would he really be able to walk a ladder and hide a gun walking it 2 or 3 miles? None of this makes any sense. I'm guessing the car was found pretty near the rally, because if you have to try and hide an AR and also a ladder you're carrying with you, and nobody sees any of that, and this is outside of the zone, come on, this is all ridiculous. A metal box of explosives connected by wires to a receiver were found in his car, which could be detonated by a remote control. And so that's where that whole thing came from. And then we also do have, well, this, I don't know if this is true, Police encountered suspect gunman long before he climbed onto the roof and initiated a foot chase, which began near the metal detectors. Radio chatter reveals there was an ongoing search for the suspect. So they had, now, see, I don't know what to believe. They had a foot chase with him before the rally even began. Imagine if that's true. Oh yeah, how about this? In Chicago, they're removing George Washington. They hate American history. And oh yeah, keep voting with the Democrats. They hate all of our history. Yeah, keep voting with them. CNN host, this is the thing that I was talking about. CNN host loses it after former U.S. Army sniper Corey Mills suggests that July 13th. Can we actually say the words here? Really, Musk is going to have to do something about this. Why do we have to use asterisks after like every potential? Like these are just they're normal words. But is it an advertising thing? Assassination attempt on Trump could have been a setup. Holy shit, Mills explained how everything about the incident made no sense. So this is a very revealing interview. You've got an expert here basically telling the CNN anchor that, look, I don't know what to tell you. And he said, like, there's nothing else. There's no other conclusion I can come to rather than this potentially being, like, we don't know. He was very careful. He's like, we don't know, but what am I supposed to tell you? This is so absurd. It's the number one primetime location if you're trying to guard against an assassination against Trump, you know, and you're looking for a potential sniper spot. I mean, that's the most obvious. That, you know, the trees would have been much harder to see. It's the most obvious, and supposedly it's also been reported, like I said earlier, there were police in the building under where Crooks was climbing. Are we serious? We're going to have to see if that's true. If that's true, I mean, they literally hear him climbing above when he's about to shoot. Imagine if that was true. I don't know if it is. I know it was reported a few days ago. Nobody's really talked about it since. The local police officer climbing up. I don't know if he climbed up Crooks's ladder that Crooks put there that apparently he bought at Home Depot the morning of. I don't know how tall the ladder was, but he probably climbed up that, and then Crooks aimed his gun at the police officer, and then it scared the police officer. He got down. You know, obviously hindsight's 2020. That's something to where if you are a police officer, you would maybe duck, and then as Crooks is repositioning, get up and just shoot him. But again, you know, that's definitely Monday morning quarterback. Don't get me wrong, that's a very hard situation in terms of that. But to be honest, I mean, he saved himself, and I mean, Trump was about to die because of that. Like, that's just the reality of it. I mean, that kid he had, I guess, 3 clear shots on Trump, and one of them hit. And then you've also got this director apparently is refusing to step down. She says the snipers weren't on the roof where Crooks shot because it was sloped and unsafe. And we've obviously all seen this video, which is right next to Trump. There's Trump. There they are. Significantly steeper incline than that roof that Crooks was on. It's not even close. The lady is just blatantly lying. And this is where it becomes almost so stupid and so obvious. Like, what's the point? We can all see this. What is the point of blatantly lying? You have a sniper at a significantly steeper slope at the same rally that you're saying, oh, it's the slope, it's too steep, we can't do it. It makes no sense. So this situation is going to continue to develop, I'm sure, but I did want to share what I had been hearing. That CNN article, it did have some information, at least the lead up, him going to the gun range on Friday practicing. Him and his father apparently were both members of the gun range, and he used his father's gun in the assassination attempt. And obviously they looked through his phone. Apparently they can't find anything. He was into programming. He was into computers. They've reported there's nothing on his phone, potentially a burner phone, potentially something else. They've searched his bedroom, they've said. I'm sure more stuff will come up, but I can just share with what they're saying right now and looking at all this stuff. Obviously, it was a total botch. And you've even got experts admitting on CNN now, they're like, it's so bad that I can't even try and give them the benefit of the doubt. This seemed like it was done on purpose. There's nothing else I can say. We don't want to speculate on live TV and make it worse, you know, make Americans hate each other or anything like that. Because if it was on purpose, that's obviously a whole nother can of worms. But it's so bad, and it's such a, you can't even quantify how ridiculous this is in terms of a kid waltzing up, buying a ladder at freaking Home Depot, setting up the ladder, already getting vetted and getting, you know, he's already like a suspect because apparently beforehand he was acting really weird. and he waltzes up on a roof with Trump supporters saying he's on the roof for 2 minutes, and then he nearly kills Trump, shoots 3 bullets at him. This is just absurd. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.